Rob Manfred's responsibility? He's just trying to make sure that he is the liaison if it's between the owners and the Players Association. Right now, he's going to have to probably look and see what the situation is. It's easy to point the fingers and say, oh, it's in Miami. Listen, guys, I live in Miami, okay? And we, at least in my area, I look around, everybody has their masks on. Everybody is following the protocol of what the mayor wants us to do here. That's one thing I can say, at least where I live. Have the numbers gone up? They have in the state of Florida. That's not a lie. In Dade County, it's gone up. We're trying to do our best here. At least we are here responsibly. That being said, the Marlins went to Atlanta first, and before they left Miami, they tested negative. Then Alfaro tested positive before opening day. Then you get 3 more testing positive after in the third game of the series. And then all of a sudden now you get 11 more players, 2 coaches added to it. We don't know if the players ended up getting it, if it's in Atlanta, if they brought it from Miami, if they got it in Atlanta, if they got it on the plane on the way to Philadelphia, or in Philadelphia. All we know is that reality has set in. The Yankees have postponed their game against the Phillies this evening, and we're going to have to take a check and look back, and the commissioner is going to have to do the same thing and realize that this is our new normal. How can we make sure that the players, once they have those walk-offs and the wins, they don't celebrate the way that we saw in Tampa Bay yesterday, or that we've seen if it's in Oakland on their walk-off? We have to make sure that the players stay even-keeled throughout the entire season and maintain social distancing.
Eduardo, to Bomani's point, we had Dana White on the show several times since the outbreak of this pandemic. And his point was, because he successfully staged events, and I asked him, what can other leagues learn from what you've done? And then Top Rank Boxing here on ESPN also successfully staged events. And he said it can be done, but it's very expensive. It costs money. And for the second time today, I'll say, scared money don't make money, right? Some of the sacrifice that had to be made is not only isolation from players' families in a bubble or multiple bubbles, it sounds would be more realistic for Major League Baseball, however many, it takes 8, 10 of them. But some of the sacrifices are the money. Like teams maybe, we'll lose a little bit of money this year instead of a lot of money, or we'll lose a lot instead of tons of money. Bomani points out, hey, maybe it's expensive and the owners didn't want to. What's your sense of why they're not in bubbles other than logistically? Because it can be done, but it costs money. What's your sense of why? Like, where was the expense thought to be too great, by the owners or the players or both?
I think both. I think at the end of the day, the money is being paid by the owners, and they're looking at what are we going to make. Without the fans in the stands, you look at the repercussions economically of the owners. You look at the amount of players that it takes to field a major league team. You got 30 players in the active roster. You have another 30 at the alternate sites. I mean, basketball doesn't have that. Soccer does not have that. Top Rank does not have that. So Major League Baseball, it takes a lot more. And then when some of those guys get hurt, you have to bring in players from alternate sites. What is it to tell you that that area or that bubble, so-called, is in an okay situation? I think it's two different. It's apple and oranges when you deal with the sports. And Major League Baseball is trying to do the best they can. Again, owners and players knowing that they're 60. And right now we're wondering how many, if even the Marlins can field an alternate site camp. Because so far, I think they're going to be left with, 8 or 9 players in their alternate sites, plus a couple coaches that won't be there either. It's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward. All I do know is that the Marlins will be tested. They tested their players again today, and by 11 o'clock p.m., they will be getting those results tonight to see exactly if it has spread out to even more players or staff members.
The bottom line is we're only here because the money is so significant that they are trying to get. Every idea that we got is a bad one. Like, if you took the money away and said, hey, you guys want to play baseball? There wouldn't be anybody playing baseball. Like, we have to understand that walking in here, that no matter what happens, it can be very easy for us to find a blame. The blame is the way that we live. The blame is the need to pay all these bills, because no matter what the sport is and all the precautions, this is something that is entirely possible, and all parties involved have decided that the risk was necessary because the stakes were so high.
Listen, this is as Sean Doolittle, the reliever for the Nationals said, about a month ago, that sports is, I'm paraphrasing now because it's about a month ago, like the reward that for a healthy society. This pandemic has been so disastrously handled by certain leaders in our country that there's a very good argument to be made that sports should not be played right now. I think there is value in the distraction they provide, and if they can be played responsibly, they should be. It may be, Eduardo, as you point out, that the nature of baseball, the number of people involved, etc., means that it's just not possible to finish a season under these conditions, different for the NBA with far fewer players and very progressed into their season by the time the pandemic hit.
Right, and we're all making adjustments. We're making adjustments. Right now, I'm doing this from my home. I've been broadcasting KBO games for 12 weeks from my home. I had the privilege of also broadcasting Major League games last week, and I will tonight again. But I will tell you this. This is something that Major League Baseball is going to have to look, and the players are going to have to decide what is the safest route for them. And right now, the need of taking showers in the ballpark, the need of being in a clubhouse or having a clubhouse on the road, I think is an unnecessary need. I think those players should be doing and dressing up at the hotel, limiting the amount of players per bus, and then go to the ballpark, play, sit in the stands, and then do your thing in the dugout, and only have the players that are playing, the ones that are the 9 active in that dugout with the coaches. That's it. Everybody else spread out. We're living in a different world, guys, and we have to adjust to that different world all around.
No question. That's a great safety protocol they could implement. Real quick, Eduardo, because I'm being told we have to wrap it. I want to get your thoughts on this. Just as a former player, what would it take for you to say, I'm out, I'm not playing this season, I don't feel comfortable?
My wife telling me, that's it, you're done. That's all it takes for me.